Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. This is Renegade Operative here, and welcome to a new gaming news update, specifically highlighting all the relevant information about the Uncharted 4 multiplayer experience in a blog that PlayStation Blog posted up not too long ago. This following blog will be put in the description, and this is not my first rodeo talking about the Uncharted 4 multiplayer experience. As a matter of fact, I pillaged my channel and I discovered that I had a lot of gaming news about Uncharted 4 during Paris Games Week 2015. I talked about the mysticals, I talked about the new rope mechanics and how you could traverse through the terrain. I talked about how the sidekicks will work in the favor of the player or against the player, because the sidekicks are AI controlled opponents, but that is just an example of that video. So the blog and this post about my video will also be in the description for you guys to check out at your leisure. So there was a series of images also released in this PlayStation blog, and I'm going to post these images on screen to make it easier for you guys to read and consume. But getting back to the main topic, they talk about multiplayer DLC philosophy. Now, if you're a gamer of today's standards, then you would realize that multiplayer DLC has been heavily skewed and abused and beaten almost to within an inch of its life, because you will notice that multiplayer DLC of today has pay-to-win mechanics, where you get a particular object and you manage to just dominate the competition who is actually trying not to use these items or actually doesn't have access to these items, and that turns out to make the multiplayer systematically broken in the process. Then you have unsatisfactory DLC, which quite honestly, there can be good DLC. There can be DLC where you get more bang for your buck. There can be DLC that is so riveting and adds so much to the initial game that you just wish there was more of it. But then there's bad DLC. But then there's DLC where it's like, let's take an example of what will probably happen from one of Activision's biggest IPs. Again, this is all speculating, but yeah. Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered, for example, where I heard that all the maps from the original game aren't even in there. It's just 10 fan favorite maps, and they will probably sell them down the road as some flashback maps, and you have to pay for them, in an old game that came out in 2007. Yeah, so I like what Naughty Dog is going for here in terms of this philosophy, and I'm going to read this off to you. Fairness is first. There's going to be an even playing field where all players have access to the in-game store items. That's good. That means they are not segregating the community because you cannot buy X object over another if you have more money. Content for everyone. All in-game store items will be unlockable through gameplay at no additional cost. This basically means through your own skill, through your own perseverance, and through your own discovery of items in the game, such as rare treasures or rare metals that might multiply your score, you will be able to buy and unlock all the tools of destruction that the multiplayer will offer you in game. And this is good. This is a godsend, because this means that it's a system that manages good replay value. You want to go back and you want to get this particular gun, you want to go back and you want to get this particular booster, but it's locked, you can't do it. So you have to go on a bit of a grind to really get what you want. It's good. It's an incentive to go back and play the game more and more and more until you get what you want, until you get that perfect loadout. That's great. That's amazing. Unified community. Everyone gets immediate access to new maps and modes at no additional cost. If you remember correctly, at the Uncharted 2 days where you had to pay for stuff initially, like the Siege expansion pack, that was actually like $6, I believe. So that means that stuff like that is a thing of the past. There's no more paying for DLC, there's no more paying for modes. You just get them right up front out of the gate like everyone else, and that is good PR because everyone likes free things. So the next image that they talk about that's illustrated in the video itself is the multiplayer DLC economy. How will that economy factor in to keep players more invested into the Uncharted 4 multiplayer experience? So what they said they will add to this effect is Uncharted 4 post-launch content, which will offer a broad range of weapons, mysticals, boosters, and vanity items, basically accessories that you can wear, and that could be all unlocked by simply playing, which is really good. You get all this stuff by completing daily challenges and winning matches. Once again, it's all based on skill, so if you have the skill to go out there and be good, then you'll get a lot of new things in your favor. You can earn relics, and you can spend these relics to earn and get new stuff in the process. Also, the random treasure drops are basically random, so you have to keep playing each match in order to unlock new things with those and get more treasure and get more money. And there's no pay to win system as illustrated earlier. This was the main thing that I was waiting to get to. I am glad that you don't have to basically cheap it out with power weapons or boosters, things that people probably won't even invest into or will not buy. It keeps everything competitive based on skill. You have to work with the tools based in the game to really get an advantage on the home team. Now, I like to take a moment out to talk about the triple pack, which I think is the only paid DLC that you can buy separately. But for what it's worth, you do get the first ever single player story add-on for the Uncharted series. The rest is just fluff for the multiplayer packs to enhance your experience, so you get guns, boosters, hats, skins, you get mysticals, you get taunts. Both multiplayer packs really sound like first access stuff than anything, but again, that's just speculation. So I think this is the only DLC. Will I be buying it? Well, it's 25 bucks, so I mean, it's really just a drop in the bucket for me, but I think I will be able to get my hands on that if the single player add-on is good, but it remains to be seen. This is a lot higher than I think The Last of Us Left Behind, which was like $10 at best, so it's a little bit more expensive, but I think they might be factoring in those multiplayer packs. Other than that, I think that the roadmap that they presented to us is really true, and I think that the rest of the other content might just be free, but again, if it's not, then I'm pretty sure that Naughty Dog are going to be called on their bluff. Now, the last image that they showed is probably one of the most important ones because it's a multiplayer roadmap. Basically what this is they are showing when all the content is going to be distributed from summer 2016 to spring 2017, and there's a lot of interesting stuff in here. One of the main things to me is the co-op. The co-op is going to be beastly. That's coming out in autumn 2016. They're also showing that a lot of stuff is coming out summer 2016. They're releasing a new mode, new maps. They have a cinema mode, which I guess is really redundant since you have PS4 share, but I mean, if you want to share stuff to Uncharted TV, maybe they can migrate that in with Uncharted TV in case you missed something. That'd be pretty cool. And they have a lot of new skins and new vanity items and new weapons coming, and it's pretty much just cut and dry from there. They really don't have any other special additions, but I hope that they add more new modes in the future when it comes to that roadmap being enhanced for 2017. And then we have the final thing on the agenda for this video, which they talk about a lot of various game modes that are going to be available at launch for Uncharted 4: A Thief's End. From what I see here, I'm gonna have to say that I'm just slightly disappointed because the playlist that they offer for Uncharted 4 is not as robust or varied as I like it to be from Uncharted 3 Drake's Deception. Drake's Deception had a lot more modes than this, and I hope that they implement those modes back into the equation, like 3-team deathmatch and regular deathmatch, as a part of the experience. But going off of what they have here, they have some interesting concepts, so I'm going to name them off. When it comes to your standard fare of modes, they still exist for this iteration of Uncharted, but they added in a lot of new variations that might be very interesting. So when it comes to team deathmatch, you have your standard fare of either kicking the enemy team's ass or they will kick your ass. Either way it goes, you have to get enemy KOs to advance the points, and when you get to a particular amount of points, that's when the round ends. So it's not based on enemy downs. That's when you down the enemy. It was a mechanic that came from The Last of Us integrated into Uncharted 4, so if someone gets revived, then you don't get that enemy KO. It's all based on enemy KOs, and whoever gets the KO gets the point. Plunder is an objective based mode where you have to take the enemy treasure to their treasure box in order to score a point. You can throw the gold idol to make this faster, but since there's a lot of enemies coming for it as well, to prevent that, then you're going to get into a dogfight eventually. So this mode was fun for several different reasons. I enjoyed it, and I think that you can climb with the treasure now, which you couldn't do in the previous Uncharted games, so hats off to Naughty Dog for that addition. So this is a new addition to Uncharted, and that's Ranked Team Deathmatch. Ranks range from Bronze 3 to Diamond 1, and it seems like you'll be awarded points for winning a match, and the points will be deducted for losing if you enter this mode. This is typical, and when you acquire the necessary amount of points, you'll enter into the qualifiers. This is where things get really interesting because the player is given the opportunity to increase his rank more in the qualifiers, and if you lose, then you must earn that opportunity again as a show of the dice. It's an interesting concept and I really enjoy it. I like the fact that they are taking competitive Uncharted into account. The only thing I'm disappointed in is there's no legacy mode. You might be really that good to prestige your character to the point of starting over again and trying to go for that rank as much as possible, trying to go for those qualifiers as much as possible. Also, there's no tournament mode, so it doesn't seem like they're going to be doing that this time around, which is another disappointment. But not having tournament mode from Uncharted 3 Drake's Deception is quite honestly something I could live without. I would just like to see it for the more competitive players out there, and I would like to see it expanded if they took that liberty to do so. The warm-up playlist sounds pretty self-explanatory. It gives you the chance to warm up and fight against other players and learn the mechanics of the game before heading into a new gameplay mode. It seems like this is the mode that goes around in circulation, so you don't stay on Team Deathmatch for long. You might go to Plunder and the next set of matches, and it helps you understand the gameplay mechanics. Trials looks like it's matches against the AI. It looks like you're going against bots. I think that learning each of the trials might be nice if you have higher levels of difficulty, but competitive players might skim over this mode because there's going to be those type of people that don't like playing with bots. I know for a fact I'm one of them. I might do it for the challenge if there's a trophy, but other than that, that's it. You can't earn relics in this mode if you go up against trials, so that's pretty good to have. You get an incentive out of that. And the last new mode that we have out of this is Command. And to summarize all of this, because it's a lot to take in and I will put it on screen for you guys, it sounds like an overglorified version of Siege from Uncharted 2 where you're capturing the points while it's kill the VIP in the process. So you get certain levels where the captain is more visible to the team. Level 1, the enemies can see the captain's icon and the captain's name. Level 2 is you can always see the captain on the radar, and level 3, the captains are automatically marked until they lose captain status. So it seems like a big amalgamation of Siege from Uncharted 2, and it looks like an amalgamation of Kill the VIP. That was in Uncharted 3 where you can kill the very important player and you can get a big point spread because of it. I like that. I like that they're mixing and matching modes and making them sound more fun and dynamic and hectic in the process. And that is it for my Uncharted 4 multiplayer coverage with the stuff that they revealed this week. I feel as though this is going to be amazing. The more that they build, the more that they add. The game was already fun. The multiplayer beta was fun as hell. If you haven't played it, you got to pick up the game and try it because I enjoyed it. And this is coming from someone that was competitive in Uncharted 2 and Uncharted 3. They really ironed out everything and scaled things back, and they really understood how to make stuff balanced. There's some stuff about that game that did annoy me a little bit, yes, such as the enemy sidekicks. I think that spawning those machine gun brutes over and over again got annoying, but I found a way to deal with them, so they really didn't annoy me as time progressed, and I really enjoyed it. So this news is like icing on the cake. It's going to turn out very well if it's just as fun as it was in the beta, if it's just as balanced, and this new stuff seems to be more icing at that. So I am enjoying this news. I cannot wait. I bought Uncharted 4. I have the game on digital. I am just waiting one last time. Until then, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully you found some things informative, and I will see you guys next time on Uncharted 4 kicking some ass. Later.